What's going on, guys? John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video, we're going to look at the QForm layout for PyQt5 and Python. All right, guys, like I said, in this video, we're going to look at the QForm layout. But before we get started, if you like this video, want to see more like it, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com, where I have dozens of courses with hundreds of videos that teach you to code. Use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off membership. It's all my courses, videos, and books for one-time fee at just $49, which is insanely cheap. Okay, like I said, in this video, we're going to look at the QForm layout. And up until now, we've been using the box layout, and that's really handy. But there's something you can use if you're going to create a form. And this is, obviously a very simple form. We've got a couple of labels and some boxes and a button. And when we click on this, we can type in something here. And then, you click the button, John, whatever. But this QForm layout allows us to do this very, very easily, much easier than other layouts that come with PyQt. So that's what we're going to look at in this video. So let's head over to our code. I've got a file called forme.py. This is the basic PyQt starter code that we always use. I'm using the Sublime Text Editor and the Git Bash terminal as always. And you can find a link to the code for this video and all my videos in the pinned comment section below, as well as a link to the PyQt5 playlist with a bunch of other PyQt5 videos. So, okay, we've got our main window. We've got our we're setting our title to Hello World. And now normally we would use this QV box layout. That's what we've been using up until now, but we're not going to use that in this video. Instead, we're going to use the QForm layout. And actually, let me put this is the way we used to do it. Let me put this back up there so we can see. Now to use this, we have to name it. So let's call this form_layout. And I'm going to set that equal to a qtw.QFormLayout, right? And now we need to set that. So let's go self.setLayout. And then we just want to pass in this name, right? So before we had self.setLayout, and then we just passed in directly the box layout. Instead, now we're naming this a variable and then passing that variable in. So it's slightly different. The reason why we need to do it this way is because we need to be able to reference this later on and add things to it. So we need a name for it. So I've named it like that. So, okay, we've got this. Here's our self.show. We always need to have that. Now let's just add our stuff, right? Or widgets or whatever you want to call them. So what we want is a label going across the whole top, and then two form items, two Q line edit boxes that we can type stuff into, and a button. So basically 4 things. So let's just start making these. So I'm going to name this label_1, and this is going to be a qtw.QLabel. And we've done this stuff before. And I'm going to say this is a cool label row. And everything in the QForm layout, oh, I misspelled layout, L-A-Y, there we go, layout. Okay. And like I said, everything in a QForm layout is a row, right? So there's our label. Now we remember we've been resizing fonts. So let's go .set font. And that's going to be a qtg.QFont. And let's name this Helvetica and make it like size 24. It's a QTG because up here we imported Qt GUI as QTG. And this font thing, QFont, is part of the Qt GUI, right? So, okay, so this will create a label and set the size a little bit bigger. We also now want an entry box for first name and last name. So let's just call this fname and set that equal to a qtw.QLineEdit. And we want to pass in self. And we've done this before. We know what QLine edits are. If you're not familiar with them, check the link to the playlist in the pinned comment section below. Check that out. So now we've got a first name and a last name. We also want a button, but I'm not going to predefine the button, and I'll show you why in just a second. Mainly just to show you 2 different ways to do this. But okay, we've got our stuff defined, right? Now let's actually add rows to app. So to do that, we call our QForm layout that we named up here, right? And this is why we named it, so we can reference it down here. So this is going to be form layout dot add row. And anytime we want to add something, we just do it like this. So we're going to do a label, 2 entry boxes, and a button. So we need 4 of these guys, right? So what do we want to add for each of these? Well, the first thing I want is label 1. So I'll just put label 1 in there. The next thing I want is one of these and one of these. So to do that, first we create a little label for it. So I'm going to say first name. And then we just pass in the thing, right? So here, this will be last name, and we'll just pass in L underscore name. So we've got first name and last name, which correspond to these two line edit guys. Now, finally, we want the button, right? So we could define the button in the exact same way we did here, but we don't need to reference it later on. We need to reference all of these things later on. So they need names like label 1 and F name and L name, right? So when we fill this out, I want to be able to take that information and do something with it. So I need to name it so that I can reference it, right? The button, I really don't need to do that. We're just going to click it. So I can define it right here if I want, or I could define it up here, but I'll show you the second way to do it. So inside of here, we just go, this is a button. So it's a qtw.q push button, right? And then what do we want the button to say? Well, we probably want it to say press me, right? And we also want it to do something. So we can go clicked equals, and remember we pass a lambda. And then I want to create a function called press it. And we've done this before. And this is a function, so we put a little function brackets. Now notice this L, it really looks like a capital L, but this is a lowercase L. Make special note of that. This is an uppercase L. See, it's white, it looks angular. This is a lowercase L. It's just how Sublime does it, makes it look like an uppercase. So, okay, we've got this press it function. Now we need to create it. So down here, I'm just going to define press it. And then we can do anything we want when this button is pressed. So our label up here is called label 1. We want to change the text from this is a cool label row to something else. So I can do this. And then we can go dot set text. And then we can pass in anything we want. So I'm going to create an F string and I'm going to say you clicked the button. And then we can pass in something from the form. So let's grab the first name. So that's F underscore name. So we would just go F underscore name dot text, and that's a function. And then maybe I'll put an exclamation point. And okay, that should work. So let's go ahead and save this and run it. Formy.py. Come up here, Python formy.py. And when we do, we see this is a cool label row. We can type in John. We can type in Elder. We click the button. You click the button, comma, John. If we want to go crazy, we can put first name and last name. So inside of here, we would do another one and call L underscore name dot text, right? If we save this and run it, you'll never guess what'll happen. Now, if I type in John Elder and click the button, you click the button John Elder. But the point of this QForm layout thing is we very easily created a form that's sort of formatted the way we want it to be, the way a normal form is. You see right here, it says first name, and then the box, last name, and then the box. It's doing that because we set it up right here as an add row with the text and the box, text, box. So we don't have to mess around with the grid system and positioning both a label and a line entry box, a Q line edit box, I guess technically called, right? We just do it like this with add row and piece of cake. So you can put anything you want in here. I'm just using line edits and labels. You can put spin boxes, combo boxes, anything you want, radio buttons, all the things you can put in there just by using the add row and then passing in the defined thing. And it's really cool. So that's the QForm layout. If you're going to create a regular form and it's going to look like a form, standard form layout, the QForm layout class is a really easy way to do it. Much easier than using even the grid layout system. We haven't really talked about that too much. We probably will in the future, but still pretty cool. So that's all for this video. If you'd like to, be sure to smash the like button below, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm, and check out Codemy.com where you can use coupon code YouTube1 to get $30 off memberships. It pays just $49 to access all my courses, over 47 courses, hundreds of videos, and the PDFs of all my best-selling coding books. Join over 100,000 students learning to code just like you. My name is John Elder from Codemy.com, and I'll see you in the next video.